Creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about night 14 of the New Japan G1 Climax 35. And I got some shit to say, like I really do. And it's not like the show itself is bad, but when I watch wrestling and also when I do the reviews, I really try not to sound biased, and I try to give my opinions on what I feel like makes sense and not necessarily what I want to see. Now, if it was based off of what I want to see, I would want to see myself laid up somewhere with Zack Sabre Jr. watching a marathon of Tales from the Crypt. But we don't get what we want in life. So, with that being said, there was one particular thing that happened here that I feel like is changing that is changing pretty much in terms of what people think may happen in terms of who's going to win the G1. So we'll talk about that in a moment. Let's talk about the tag matches before we discuss the Block B results. Our first tag match of the night, we have Oleg Boltin teaming up with Toru Yano to go against Taichi and Masatora Yoshida. I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I wasn't ready to see Taichi, knowing that he is out of the competition. I had high hopes in terms of him making it really far in this tournament. And since he's out, maybe some people don't really feel like he has to win anything. So Oleg Boltin ends up taking the win with his team. He'll be going against Taichi for night 15. Our next tag match of the night, we have Ryohei Oiwa teaming up with Hartley Jackson, which I feel like is the MVP of Block C, if you ask me, to go against Yoshinobu Kanemaru and Sanada. Sanada, very interesting, but like we said, we're not going to comment on the fashions. It's this thing. They're teaming up. House of Torture, they have done the absolute most throughout this entire time. And I'm really kind of feeling like, maybe I'm the only person thinking this, but House of Torture, if one of them win, which is not many options to be honest with you, I'm cool with it. House of Torture ends up taking the win over TMDK. Now, our next tag match. We have Cullen Newman teaming up with Jacob Austin Young, which I really like. I kind of wish he was in a tournament, to be honest with you, but we'll see what ends up happening next year. They are teaming up to go against Daiki Nagai and Yota Tsuji. Yota Tsuji's team end up taking the win, and Daiki is absolutely killing it. So I can't wait to see what happens with his career as we move on from the G1. The Young Lions have been putting in a lot of work. Now, our next tag match, we have Evil teaming up with Dick Togo to go against President Tanahashi and Katsuya Murashima. This was very interesting to me because I kind of feel like I don't know if we're going to see the typical House of Torture in terms of when Evil goes against Tanahashi for night, what is it? What night we on again? We're 14. Okay, so night 15. And I don't know where it's going to go because when he went against Sanada, I was actually expecting to see interference from House of Torture, and I thought that would make it very interesting in terms of them, being bullies towards the president. And for whatever reason, they didn't go that route. However, I do feel like Evil is going to have to go that route when he goes against President Tanahashi for night 15. House of Torture takes the win again. Now after this, we have our last tag match of the night. We have Gedo teaming up with David Finlay to go against Tomoki Honma and Yuya Uemura. David, where was all that aura and vibe that you had last night? Like, all that shit was gone. I don't know what happened, but like, I thought he did okay, but like that type of vibe that he had to win night 13, it just felt like it fell off, and he's going to need that to go against Yuya because a lot of people have him in terms of like their favorites of the competition, and Yuya has absolutely done amazing. And I'm gonna touch base on Yuya in a little bit. Let's talk about the Block B matches. Now, night 13 was a little bit of a letdown for a couple of the matches due to them kind of like being on the short side. I mean, President Tanahashi was fucking not even 3 minutes, like literally 2.5 minutes. And I was just like, I need a little bit more. So I felt like Block B tonight did a little, definitely better than night 13. We start off with El Fantasma, who is already out but has 6 points to go against Yoshihashi, who already has 8 points. I know people are just like, well, all Yoshihashi got to do is just beat El Phantasmo since he can't qualify to move on in the tournament itself. However, El Phantasmo takes the win, which I was very disappointed in. I try not to think like those who are already eliminated shouldn't win, because obviously I still think that they have something to prove, but you're kind of cheering a little bit more for those people who are still in a competition. And you know, if we're at that point where if they're going against someone who's already out, we still got to get some people off the board, because we have a hell of a lot of people with 8 points, and El Phantasmo takes the win to get his little 8 points, but that doesn't do anything for him in terms of advancing in the competition. Now after this, the front man in my heart, Zack Sabre Jr., going against Drilla Maloney. Drilla has 8 and Zack came in with 10. And after the little stare down on night 13, I was just like, I don't know. After Drilla had lost in like 5 minutes the other day, honestly, I don't know what the fuck that was about, but that made, I think a lot of people feel like Drilla had no chance of beating Zack Sabre Jr. Someone like Zack, who has won almost all his matches and done really, really well. I think the only loss he's had was against Ren Narita. And he's done absolutely well. Now, Drilla, he is really putting in the work. However, he got that left arm that has had previous injuries, and Zack noticed that, oh, he holding on to that arm. I'm just gonna stretch it out till he's fucking done. And Zack literally gets this bitch to tap the moment that he pulls onto his arm. Like, he barely got a chance to put an arm bar in, and he just ends up tapping. And I was just like, damn, bitch, he must be hurt. Zack, the first person and the only person so far in the tournament with 12 points. After the show, Drilla seemed very upset, and he's like, well, if my arm wasn't fucked up before, it's fucked up now. And he was going off about how he remembered when he first met Zack, and when he was 13 years old, his mom asked what he wanted for his birthday, and he said, take me to see Zack Sabre Jr. And she took him for like 2 hours away to go see Zack. And you know, that was the first time that they ever met, and he's like, I wanted to beat Zack. I wanted him to stand on the other side of the ring, and after his defeat, look at me and be like, I acknowledge you for who you are right now and what you've become. Then all of a sudden, you hear in the background somebody cussing like a sailor back there. And I was like, well, all right, Babe's back there, and he's going to come and say something. Basically, he said, look, I acknowledge who you are. I've never had an issue in terms of acknowledging what you've become. And then he goes on to say that I know that at some point that all these younger guys are going to start beating me up and taking wins over me. And I was just like, don't remind me. But until then, Zack is taking all the wins. And I guess everything's all good because they're going to go out for a pint after the whole show. Whatever. Anyway, our next Block B match, Ren Narita going against Shingo Takagi. And another one of those times where I was just like, House of Torture, I'm cool if they win, right? Ren Narita comes in with 10 points. Shingo comes in with 6. And I did say, you know, after night 13, I said, like, consider Shingo out, because, like, what we doing at this point? But Shingo ends up taking the win. This is one of the better matches of the night. And I was really surprised. Shingo knee is all the way fucked up. All the way fucked up. But he's been pushing through these last few matches. And you're seeing he's limping. You're seeing he's having a struggle. And somehow, some way, still ends up defeating Ren Narita. I was very surprised about this. I think even though I really do enjoy Shingo, I kind of felt like this should have gone to House of Torture. Now, our main event. Konosuke Takeshita with 10 points. Going against Shota Umino, who has 8 points. I watched this match, and maybe I was just being biased or a little naive, but I was just like, I ain't worried. I ain't worried about this at all. Takeshita, we've been praying. We've been lighting up candles and voodoo dolls and everything. So I know we were going to win. There was a specific spot in this match that really changed my mind in terms of Takeshita winning. So all the matches that Takeshita has won, he has actually won not with Blue Thunder Bomb or a Raging Fire, a chicken wing, which is, I guess you could say, abnormal for Takeshita in terms of what we typically see him do. And he locks in the chicken wing onto Shota. Shota is struggling. However, Takeshita is holding on that neck. And he's like, bitch, I'm not going to let you go. You're going to tap. And I believe that he was going to. When it seemed like Shota was struggling the most in this hold, Red Shoes, y'all know Red Shoes is his daddy, he seemed to be conflicted over if he should go for the belt or not. I don't know. The camera doesn't pan out to who he was talking to. Maybe the timekeeper or whatever, the guy who rings the bell, whatever. And he's like signaled to him, like, I don't know. He's shrugging his shoulders, like, I'm like, why are you doing this? Like, you're the referee. You have to make that call. If you feel like the person in the ring is in a hold and they can't go any longer, then it's up to you to make that call. But he's over here shrugging his shoulder, looking out to see what anybody has to say. I'm like, what is this? What is this? It was that moment when I was just like, we not winning. We not winning. And Shota takes a win with a second chapter. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I keep feeling over and over again they do this thing with Shota where it's just like we want him to be the next big guy, but it's just not there yet, right? And that's determined by the fans. Like, even when, we see this all the time throughout plenty of wrestling promotions, throughout fucking wrestling history, where the guy who's getting pushed the most to be that guy, sometimes there's a whole bunch of more qualified guys under that person who I would say should be in that spot. And Shota, it's not like I don't like him. There's no connection at all. And a lot of people would say the same thing. I was reading an article a little while ago about Shota Umino, the unwanted ace. When I tell you I almost fell the fuck out my seat, I was like, what? I would be crying if somebody said that about me. Shota Umino, oh my God, I don't even know where to begin. My point is that even though we love Takeshita and it would have been great for him to get this one, I thought it was really important. He can possibly still qualify to be one of the guys in the playoff. Maybe, we'll see. Even though he didn't win, we have a issue with New Japan. President Tanahashi is the ace. He is going to be retiring in January at Wrestle Kingdom. Who is going to be that next guy? Right now, I feel like in terms of New Japan and the foreign crowd, I'm not talking about people in Japan, I'm talking about the foreign crowd, which is, I guess, everyone who's outside of Japan, obviously. There's a bit of a disconnect because, it's foreign to us. Now, I do enjoy New Japan, but sometimes it takes more than just seeing the Japanese wrestlers, and to get that, to be able to relate and to find someone that we can connect with, it does take what is considered to be like a gaijin wrestler, a foreign wrestler to Japan. But Takeshita is special in a way because he's Japanese. However, he is very over with the foreign crowd, which is everyone outside of Japan. If they want to have an opportunity to be able to take this next step with New Japan after the ace is retired, hopefully, Takeshita could be that guy. Because Takeshita can bridge that gap that is keeping people from truly connecting with New Japan. And for whatever reason, I feel like the company keeps circling back to Shota Umino, which I am just like, I don't see it. I don't feel it. If not Takeshita, the other person that I would say is not a foreign wrestler, and that would be Yuya Uemura. He got it. He got it. You look at this man and you see the superstar quality in and out the ring. You see him with the kids outside the show and everything. He's connecting with people. And I feel like if we couldn't give an opportunity like that to Takeshita, Yuya would definitely be my second pick. And in terms of other foreign wrestlers, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I don't really have a connection with a lot of the other foreign wrestlers. We could take it up a notch with David Finlay. I don't, even with David, I feel like the War Dogs itself, we're just not there yet right now. So that's the issue right now. People were very upset about the result for the main event. Mixed reviews about the quality of the match, and I'm wondering if people was being biased about that because Takesha didn't win. So that right there kind of felt like people, the quality of people's reviews on it kind of was tainted because their favorite didn't win. I thought the match was okay, but I felt like that moment, like, let's be real, we gotta be professional. Red Shoes is a referee, the head referee, and he's typically doing the main events. And if your son is there and you look to be conflicted, get your ass outside the ring and get another referee. I don't want to hear no stories, I don't even care if it's for a story. It doesn't come fair if you're seeming like, I cannot ring the bell because my son is getting choked the fuck out. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. Overall, the night was great. I thought it was better in terms of match quality than night 13. But just that right there, thank God it was the main event, because that would have just fucked up the whole thing if it had happened earlier in the night. In terms of points, Zack Sabre Jr. has the most. He has 12 points. I'm gonna just give a quick prediction in terms of where it's gonna where I think it may go. I do think for Block B, Zack and Shota will definitely be one of those two to win. I'm kind of not happy about this, but we'll see. And then for Block A, this might seem a little bit weird to say, but Evil or Yuya. Those are my choice between both blocks. And I wouldn't be mad if it was any of these people but Shota Umino. So it is what it is. I try to keep my feelings out of it, but I really do want New Japan to be successful. And if New Japan can't just think about what they want as a company, but what people would want for the company as well. If you want to be successful, sometimes you're gonna have to do what you don't necessarily want to do to try to get those fans. They were saying how TJPW have more views and have more sellout shows for their current tournament that's going on right now over New Japan. And I was like, oh, I did not know that. Congrats to the girls. However, there should also be something that should be alarming to New Japan as well. And if they want to do better, I really feel like it's really time to focus on how to get the foreign crowd to be drawn to New Japan. And Shota Umino is not that guy. We'll see what ends up happening at the end of the G1. You guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back with night 15. See you guys then.